Hi, and welcome to my channel, Laura's Library Card. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing some of my favorite reads for 2023. I'm going to do a bunch of honorable mentions and books that I enjoyed throughout the year, and then end with my top 2 favorites for the year. I am also today filming my DNFs from 2023 and a couple books that I sort of wish I would have DNF'd worst of the year, so stay tuned for that. Let's just go ahead and dive right into some books that I thought were excellent in 2023. I did mention in my statistics video, which I'll link up in the cards if you want to go watch that I was kind of in a slump in the first part of the year, the first few months of the year, but I will say that one of the first books I read at the start of the year was Three Swedish Mountain Men by Lily Gold. This was the first Why Choose romance I've ever read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really just had a fun time with that book. I thought it was very light and fun. And I did later read another book by Lily Gold that I also thought was excellent. And this is the start of me realizing that a Why Choose romance is something that I can enjoy. I later in the year also read Pucking Around by Emily Rath and thought that was excellent, and definitely intend to reread Pucking Around in 2024. I have it checked out on Kindle Unlimited right now because I just kind of want to dive back into that book. It was smutty but fun and had just this like drive that was over the top but a good time. So I felt like I started the year strong. Another book that I wanted to mention that I enjoyed was For the Fans by Nyla K. I went into this a little trepidatious because of the tropes and setup. Stepbrother romance? Wasn't so sure, but I ended up having a really good time. I thought it was emotional, and I liked seeing that push and pull between the characters. And let me tell you, something that I just eat up and love is when a character says, "No, I'm not into this. This is not. It doesn't have anything to do with emotions," and yet at the same time they are all about it. And it's just they're like, "Oh, I love that." Sort of lying to themselves kind of feel. That was a great time in For the Fans by Nyla K. I also discovered Lillian Lark this year. The first book that I read of hers was Deceived by the Gargoyles. Thought that was a fun time. It's kind of a Why Choose essentially romance as well. I thought that was excellent and continued to read another 3 titles by her this year. Definitely have enjoyed her writing and want to read more by Lillian Lark. And I also read a couple of books that I would say are popular or ones that I've been seeing a bunch of and I enjoyed. I read In a Jam by Kate Canterbary. Thought that was a fun, delightful time. Have read this author before, but will read more from her in the future. That was a good time. I also read The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, which I went to a book club for, and the discussion that we had in that book club really enhanced my enjoyment of the book. I enjoyed that one as well. Would consider going back and reading Dead Romantics by the same author, but I'm not sure. That premise just wasn't sounding super interesting to me. But if you liked it, let me know down in the comments because I enjoyed The 7-Year Slip and want to read more by that author. I also read The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren, which I had a really fun time while I was reading it. I will say I didn't think that it kind of stuck with me as long term as I would have liked it to have done, but I have read most of what Christina Lauren that author duo has put out at this point, and I did enjoy The True Love Experiment this year. Towards the end of the year, I also discovered this zombie apocalypse series that is a romance happening during a zombie apocalypse by Gwendolyn Harper. Had a great time with those. It was a trilogy of novellas, and I thought that was super fun and interesting as a premise. And yeah, the last 2 that I'm going to mention in my honorable mention section are Alpha by Audrey Faye, which is a shifter romance, but this isn't a standalone romance. This was a first in a series and was really focused on the dynamics of the pack and very emotional maturity, sensing of other people. It was unlike anything that I have read before, and I mean that in a good way. And I definitely regret not diving right into the next books in the series because I'm almost wanting to reread Alpha before I continue the series, but I thought that was excellent and thought it was very interesting and different from anything I've read before. And my last honorable mention that I'm going to mention is You Can Count on Me by Fae Quin, which is something I read right here at the end of the year in December. And it's a male-male romance. that had some sort of wintry Christmas vibes, which I thought was excellent. There was good emotional maturity on the behalf of both of our main characters, and I had a fun time with that book as well. I liked how communicative those characters were. Okay, I lied. I have just a couple more, but these are non-romance honorable mentions. I read the book 1, 2, 3 by Laurie Frankel for a book club, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. This is a literary fiction title following these three sisters, and I just thought that their dynamic as siblings was really interesting, and what they were doing for the town was super interesting. It reminded me of, oh gosh, I'm blanking, Dark Waters, I think is the name of the movie with Mark Ruffalo, which is based on a true story. It reminded me of some of those vibes in a good way, so I liked that book. I also read a graphic novel called The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill for a different book club that I'm in, and this was absolutely precious, totally adorable. It is so soft and sweet and kind and precious, and I just ate the whole thing up and want to continue reading more in the Tea Dragon Society universe because that was so soft and sweet. And the last non-romance thing that I'm going to mention is kind of dumb, but Never Lie by Freida McFadden was a mystery thriller that I read, and I was really kind of just very middle of the road about it until the twist happened, and it just was not a twist that I was expecting. I mean, it's supposed to be a twist, a reveal, a big thing that happens in the middle of mystery thrillers, and this happened right around the 75 or 80% mark. And I almost DNF'd it because I was like, this is boring, until that twist happened, and it had me so shook. And I don't think this book is like particularly excellent, but that reveal just kind of blew my mind. So I had to mention it here that I need to read more mystery thriller, because that one I thought was like probably in the end kind of mediocre overall, and the twist does make some things at the start of the book not make sense, but like I did not see that twist coming, and it really hit me hard, you know? So those are some of my honorable mentions for the year, and now I'm going to discuss the top 2 books of the year for my 2023 favorites. When I was trying to figure out what my best book of 2023 was, I took a look at all of the ratings spreadsheet that I keep and was looking at the ratings that I gave throughout the year. I did do some rereading in 2023, and almost everything that I reread in 2023 are excellent favorite books, some of my top books of all time. I'll put some covers here around me right now for some of the rereads that I reread in 2023 and that I obviously gave extremely high ratings too. But of all my newest reads, there was 2 that kind of stood out as the top rated of the year, and those are the 2 that I'm going to discuss now. Very slightly in second place, I'm going to put Happy Place by Emily Henry. I don't really care if this makes me kind of basic. For whatever reason, this book hit me, and it was a 5-star for me at the time that I was reading it. I don't think it's a perfect book. I think it has some issues, but it just really pulled on my heartstrings and felt relatable to me, and was a 5-star and exactly what I needed. I laughed, I cried, I thought it was excellent. I really enjoyed the friend group in this book. The premise is that our main female character of Harriet and the main male character of Win have been together for years and years and years, and they are getting together with their friend group to have a vacation, but the friend group does not know that actually Harriet and Win broke up a few months ago. They've kind of kept it secret, so they have to pretend to date, or that they're still together during this vacation. It's a lot to do with the just sort of changes over time, like how Harriet and Win came to not only be together and fall in love, but also what then happened to them over the course of their relationship that led to the breakup. How is them pretending to be together now causing some of those feelings to happen, and also an examination of how growth and change and time affects friendships as well. And so for me, I feel like it was very realistic in a lot of ways. It was very moving in a lot of ways. It's not a perfect book. It's not super even happy or uplifting, because there is tension and drama and reasons why the characters have pulled apart, but I really thought that was realistic, and I thought that was enjoyable. It's not a tragedy. It is still a romance, but like there is this tragic and sad kind of edge to a lot of the book, and for me, Happy Place just really was excellent, and I thought that it really hit the nail on the head, and I could see a lot of myself in Harriet. And so for me, Happy Place got 5 stars and is my second favorite of the year. And my top favorite title for 2023, I decided to go with The Rest of the Story by Tal Bauer. This is a male hockey romance that had been recommended to me by Stef at Novelty Corner and was one of her top favorites of the year, if not her very top favorite, I think. And I can totally see why, because it is excellent. Our main character of Morgan is a seasoned hockey player. He gets traded to this team that is the worst team of the whole National Hockey League or something like that, and there is a lot of problems happening in that team that he basically immediately comes in and manages to help solve and resolve some of those issues. There's abuse and like physical abuse happening, as well as mental and emotional that is happening, and so he kind of comes in and helps save the day. But also he and all of the team become such found family, and there's another member of the team that he ends up falling for, and that is Shay, and Shay is just excellent in and of himself. And I found this book to be so emotional and moving. The main characters have a lot of emotional maturity and really want to be careful of the other person and all the other people on the hockey team. And I felt like those considerations were done so well. And there's so much inherent consent and so much inherent discussion and progression in a believable way that was moving. And I just loved how committed and head over heels Morgan is for Shay, and how he just like literally just adores Shay. And I would say adoration and jubilation are just the main emotions for the book, as well as such a strong found family vibe that was adorable to read about. And I just found this book to be extremely moving. I thought the writing was excellent. I love the characterization. I just enjoyed the heck out of it from start to finish. And I cannot wait to read more from Tal Bauer in 2024, because The Rest of the Story was 5 stars, excellent, amazing, emotional, and it just yanked on all of my heartstrings in the best possible way, and I cannot recommend it enough. So I'm going to put a quick little clip here of all of my books, just kind of scrolling through on Goodreads. I definitely feel like there's some out there that I really enjoyed that I didn't mention here in this video. And yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know down in the comments anything that you super loved in 2023, maybe a recommendation for me to take into 2024. And thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you next time. Bye.